Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Amanda, and I am an eBay sales specialist with Hollander. Today we are going to go over ways to optimize your listings within eLink using eLink filters, and also help minimize returns and after-sale problems using eLink filters. First, we're going to go over optimizing titles for search. Within eLink, Hollander has optimized the titles and auto-generated titles for all parts that have an interchange. What that means is that items that do not have interchange do not have an auto-generated title within eLink. Therefore, you want to try to locate those items and make sure that you are optimizing the titles for search. To do so, you can use filters, go down to custom criteria, and choose Hollander interchange code. Now, all items that have interchange are called dash numbers. They have a dash within the Hollander interchange code. Items that do not have interchange have a dot within them, so they're called dot numbers. So you'll choose Hollander interchange code contains dot and hit apply. This is how you locate the items that do not have interchange, so therefore they do not have an auto-generated title, and you'll know that the titles need to be adjusted for search. So I'll look right here, and I'm going to choose this seat. And you'll notice this seat the title is missing quite a few. It's not very descriptive, and it's missing a lot of keywords that your buyer is likely going to be searching for. The likelihood that your buyer searching for this seat just types in 350Z 2003 seat front is very unlikely. Your buyer is highly likely going to type in either driver side, passenger side, cloth, the color of the seat, and so forth. So I go down here to part details, and I can see, because when I inventoried this, I put in the details. It's a front driver side black cloth seat. So I'm going to adjust this title. Take away all punctuation, and I do have extra room here, so I'm going to go ahead and put in left side as well. Now, if you have to determine between one or the other as far as location goes, you should choose driver or passenger, but if you have room, go ahead and put in left or right. Reason being is you always want to think like your buyer, and what is your buyer searching for. Typically, a lot of buyers do not know left for right on a vehicle because they don't know if they're sitting in the vehicle or looking at the vehicle from the front. So it's a good idea to use driver or passenger. But if you have the room, definitely put in all those keywords. Now, I included the full 4-digit year because, again, this is a non-interchange item. It's a dot number. Therefore, not only does it not have an auto-generated title, but it also does not have the fitment chart within the listing. So, in order for that year to be searchable, you need to put in the full 4-digit year. You do not need to repeat it and put 2003 as well as 03, because that 03 is going to be captured. If the buyer only searches 03, it will still be captured. If you know that this seat is going to fit more than 1 year, then you would want to go ahead and add that each year within the title. So a good rule of thumb to remember is that if it has a dot number, if it's a dot number, all 4 digits of the year need to be within the title. All right. Next, we're going to take a look at a couple other dot numbers. And in incorrect incorrect spelling of the make, model, or incomplete make models in the title, which are confusing to the buyer. So scrolling down here, you'll notice I have a couple listings here that just say 6 space 2006. It's highly unlikely that if I'm looking for a Mazda 6 fob remote, I'm going to be typing in 6, only the 6. So if your buyer types in 2006 Mazda 6, this part is not coming up for them. So again, it is just a dead listing for you that's going to be dragging down the rest of your listings and your impression rates. So scrolling back up, we're going to use filters again. Instead of going through all 1,500 of these to find all those 6s, we do have the filters showing. Still have all Hollander interchange code contains dot. And we're going to add in another line here. I'm going to go title. Starts with, 6 space. And hit apply. Here we only had 2. So now before I list these, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to optimize the title to make these relevant. I don't have any additional conditions and options that are relevant. So I'll just put in 2006 Mazda 6. And for this, I'll put in key fob remote without punctuation. Maybe keyless entry. Again, think like your buyer. What is your buyer going to be searching for if they are looking for this key fob? You might want to separate this out. Good opportunity here to also go and look and see how your competition is using titles. And I save that one there. And I could go on to this valve cover as well. Another title that I saw needed optimizing. You'll see here, this Outback Legacy. How many of your buyers are going to be searching for their Outback Legacy parts using that keyword there? Very few. So you'll want to correct these ones. 2007. And get the spelling right on there. And save. All right. So those are tips and tricks to optimize your items that do not have the interchange attached to them and do not have auto-generated titles within eLink. Now we're going to discuss searching by stock number. So I'm going to go back to my unlisted folder and adding additional keywords to items that may have interchange and optimized titles, but they may not have keywords that your buyers are searching for, such as color. So for this example, I'm going to go ahead and search by stock number. Alright, so got this stock number punched in here. So before I start listing these parts, hit edit on this. And I can see that when upon inventory, we entered in that this was a blue fender. So driver left fender, I might just add in blue. Now if your buyer searches for the specific color that they're looking for, your listing is going to pull up and you just put yourself ahead of your competition. Now we'll go ahead and do the same thing with a seat. So upon inventory, we entered in that this was a black cloth seat. which is an important thing that your buyers are definitely searching for when they are trying to replace their seats. And here we also see that we have some more optimization that we can do on this. We can get rid of these spaces, this punctuation. So we'll say there. And go ahead and save that or save it and list it. Now you can do all of those features, you can use all of those features when you're initially listing, or you can perform them from the listed tab to spruce up your listing that you already have. Now we're going to go through and we are going to look at the listed items of yours that may have changed their location since you initially listed them. The amount of time that it takes for your buyers to receive a part in the mail is part of the shipping time is a factor within the algorithm. So if your buyer is going to get the item quicker, you're more likely to get that boost in search. Buyers now have the option of filtering by when they are going to receive an item as well. So if you list an item initially that's in the yard and you initially list it as 2-day or more handling, but since you listed it, let's say a couple weeks later, you go ahead and that vehicle has now been dismantled and the item's now on the shelf, you want to make sure that you're locating those parts and changing them to 1-day or same-day handling, so that way you're getting that boost in search and also maybe taking advantage of Top Rated Plus if you are a top rated seller. All right, so we will start in our listed tab and we'll show filters to find our unbolted parts. Go ahead and hit apply. Now here we have 2 unbolted. So we know that these parts can have 1-day handling on them. We'll take a look. Now you'll likely have quite a few more. This is a test account. So this one here has the 1-day handling. And this one here does not. It has 2-day handling. Now if you have tens of thousands of listings here, you might not want to switch all the unbolted items to 1-day handling and put them in progress because some already have 1-day handling attached. Also, if you have transmissions and engines in here, those need to stay flat rate freight or freight with a freight shipping policy. So you want to make sure that you're not accidentally switching any freight items over to standard shipping 1-day handling. So how we make sure that we refrain from doing that is we come down here to custom criteria, select shipping preset is equal to, and we only care about the ones that currently have free standard shipping with 2-day handling because we want to switch those from 2-day handling to 1-day handling now that they are unbolted. So we'll go ahead and hit apply. And here we only have 1. Now keep in mind you're likely to have quite a few more. So what you'll want to do is if you select all here and you hit bulk change, if you switch the shipping preset to 1-day handling, what you'll notice after you hit update is it disappears. So now you've just lost the listing, and what you would have to do then is find all your free shipping with 1-day handling and revise all of these. Again, you may not want to do that if you have tens of thousands of listings because you don't want them all stuck in progress. So the way around that is I'm going to go ahead and switch this one back to 2-day for demonstration purposes. And find my 2-day handling again. So what I do is I select them all, I bulk change, go ahead and change the shipping preset to the 1-day handling, excuse me. And if any of you watched the webinar we held on on the list as new feature, or if you've ever performed the list as new feature, you are aware of entering markers into eLink. So what you do here is you enter in a marker. This marker helps you find items within eLink to then revise them later on. So e-commerce description, change to, and I like to just use today's date. Or you can use the year, the month and year, whichever you'd like. And go ahead and hit update. And you'll see the item disappeared again. So now all I need to do is come on up here to shipping preset, find e-commerce description is equal to and there pops up my item. Now I can select and revise. So now I've just changed all these items to have them get a boost in search, help prevent being filtered out in the case of my buyers selecting the guaranteed delivery filtering options, if you're a part of a guaranteed delivery program, and also made sure that I am taking advantage of Top Rated Plus by getting the preferred search there, as well as my final value fee discounts. All right, now we are going to move on to ways to use filters to minimize after-sale issues and returns. First, I'm going to start with common issues that I hear, for instance, seatbelts. I often hear that buyers are not reading the title or the description carefully enough, or even looking at the photo carefully enough to know that the seatbelt is either the retractor or the buckle. So, what you do there is use the title, and what you can do is you can use our subtitles, which are free with Hollander, to call out that this is for the retractor only. That way, before the buyer even clicks into the listing, they will see that not only in the title that this is for the retractor, but that you're calling out within the subtitle that this is for the retractor only. Therefore, you'll have less chance of that buyer receiving that item, thinking it was the retractor and the buckle, and opening a case saying not as described. Go ahead and click bulk change, and simply change your subtitle in bulk, and this will apply to all of your seatbelts that have retractor in the title. And you might want to make sure that you include too that your great warranty or how many years you've been in business. And update. Now when you list those, they're all going to have that exact subtitle included to help minimize the chance of after-sale issues. Another way to minimize after-sale issues are on parts that may need to have special details called out within the listing. For instance, if you have a wheel that has scratches, or a side view mirror that has a dent in it or a scrape, Upon inventory, what you can do is you can put markers within your conditions and options for items such as these, so that way you know you can use filters within eLink to call out these minor defects on the items and minimize the chances of after-sale problems on these as well. So I'll start my unlisted tab. And let's say up on inventory I have my inventory personnel. Simply put in an asterisk in the conditions and options for all items that I know that need special attention within the description. What I'll do there is conditions and options contains. You can put the asterisk or whatever code you guys want to use and select apply. Well, now I know that these parts prior to being listed need special attention. So then you could go in and hopefully you work it out with your inventory personnel, but within conditions and options they should put in something along the lines of dent or rust or something like that, so that way you know that that needs to be called out either in the subtitle, or maybe you put that in the part condition description. Is an excellent area to put specific information in. You can also use that to filter items out. So if I'm going to my unlisted folder and I know that I want to list everything that's unbolted, $25 and up, and let's see here, I want to do all grades. I can hit apply. And I can say conditions and options does not contain that asterisk. Hit apply. Now I know that parts that need special attention are not going to accidentally be listed up to eBay, and I can go back later when I have more time and actually find those parts by using contains the asterisk, and when I have more time I can go through and add in those additional details. Again, minimizing after-sale issues and returns. All right, and now we will open it up for any questions.